sunrise, new day's dawning, and it's calling you and me, where the mighty Mississippi flows by Memphis, Tennessee. We've got woodlands, fields, and water. Hey, there is no better way. You can find out all about it on Outdoors with Larry Ray. Make some time, take the family, ask a friend, but don't delay. Listen up and learn about it on Outdoors with Larry Ray. Listen up and learn about it on Outdoors with Larry Ray.
Good Saturday morning and welcome to another edition of the award-winning Outdoors with Larry Ray, brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency. Now, here's your host, Larry Ray.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome to Outdoors with Larry Ray as we continue our roll toward 20 years on the air on ESPN 790 right here in Memphis, Tennessee. Good morning to all you folks in Brownsville, Tennessee on 1520 AM and 95.3 FM. And, of course, in Jackson on News Talk 101.5. And this is third Saturday, which means Frank Barton is our co-host. And, of course, Frank is on the phone as we're not allowed to have anyone here due to restrictions except me and Shelby McCall, the show producer. Good morning, Frank.
Good morning, Larry. Good morning, everyone.
And, you know, Frank, he has the FM voice, so he really fits in real nicely here. And we'll let him do maybe one segment for sure as the introduction, because he is the all-time best when it comes to introduction. And I know, Frank, you and I have dealt with Asian carp before on the Mississippi River in your airboat that we dealt with that. And back in those days, Frank, it was all fun and games. They were kind of something unique to see, but we're going to find out as we talk to the next gentleman, a good friend of Outdoors with Larry Ray, and about some money that has been appropriated to help deal with Asian carp. And that's our good friend Mike Butler. He is the CEO for the Tennessee Wildlife Federation. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, Larry. How you doing?
Oh, man, I'm up and at him here. I know Frank's got to get it through so he can get to the duck blind. And me, I get to spend the day with my granddaughter who's been in quarantine with COVID and is officially off of it now. So I'm looking forward to seeing her. But, Mike, I know I got a press release from you guys recently about $25 million. And I kind of think of that, I roll that up and put that into $1 bills and how far that'll stretch. But talk about this $25 million to help us erect Asian carp barriers on the Tennessee, Cumberland rivers that we got found out about in late December, if I'm not mistaken. So tell our listeners a little bit about this.
Yeah, and I'll put it in a little quick context for you. 3 years ago, back in 2018, when we started working on getting funding for this, there was little to no money coming into Tennessee or the Tennessee Valley for the effort. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
There was very little money coming in for the effort around carp. And in the FY20 federal budget, we picked up $14 million new dollars, and it opened up Tennessee to receive those dollars. And that is gone. Some of that has gone towards catching these fish. But the real piece of this that goes with that catching of them is stopping them from getting into the systems we have anyway.
Right. Yes.
So we've been working on monies to put barriers at the locks and the dams up and down the Tennessee and Cumberland rivers. There's two pieces to this that are important. One, Tennessee Valley Authority has to do the environmental analysis to make sure that that's squared away. They started that effort in early 2020. It'll be complete towards the end of February 2021 here soon. And the second part is what came in this omnibus spending package that Congress just passed and the president signed.
Yes.
That's the $25 million you talk about, where we can use that to spend on up to 10 projects in the Tennessee and Cumberland River systems that would halt or stop the advancement of carp through our locks.
And a lot of folks are saying now, Asian carp, they have been found in all three of Tennessee's divisions, from the Mississippi to the Tennessee River north of Chattanooga. And the detriment here is, folks, as you remember now, that they are just doing so much damage, and they grow to be such size, and they get big, and they eat everything that the forage and things along that line. So the way to do this, and I think you mentioned this, is that we've got to try to come up with barriers. So these barriers are trying to stop the flow of the Asian carp, right, Mike?
That's correct. The first thing you got to do is stop the source. The
Yes.
source is the Mississippi River, which feeds into the Ohio, which feeds into the Tennessee, which feeds into the Cumberland.
Yes.
So we have an experimental barrier at Barkley Lock that uses sound, light, and bubbles, and we're going to hopefully put one like that at Kentucky Lock, working with the Corps of Engineers and some other people. And that would stop, hopefully, the access of carp in large numbers to the Tennessee and Cumberland rivers. Then we would start looking downstream. Where would we need to put some to stop the advancement of the fish in greater numbers? Right now, East Tennessee doesn't have significant numbers of carp that are a viable reproducing population. At least that's the current thought of the biologists.
Right.
So you're looking at Pickwick maybe, and maybe Wilson to protect Gunnersville and Wheeler.
Yeah. And this money comes in at a vital time too, right? I mean, because
Absolutely critical. The longer we wait, the harder it is to win.
And a lot of folks are saying, well, can't we catch them? Can't we utilize them being here? Well, yes, we have commercialized, and I have tasted the carp. It's not bad. I like it. It's okay. But to get enough commercialization out of this and to make it worthwhile, we've been overwhelmed. And me and Frank know that firsthand. Even that day that we had Senator Kustoff, Representative Kustoff down here with Bill Dance, and we were going out in the river and showing them what it was like. It's beyond being funny now. It's dangerous, right?
It is. It has really hit the economy around Kentucky Lake pretty hard. They
Right.
lost $3 million worth of fishing tournaments. That's been verified here recently. It's affected land prices on the river in some instances with real estate, and it's affected recreational use. And so, we've been fortunate that we've only seen one verifiable spawn on Kentucky Lake in the last 5 years, according to TWRA. But that just means we've got to move as quickly as possible. The things that work for us are slow-moving water. Carp
Yes.
eggs that are fertilized die if they hit the bottom.
Yeah.
They suffocate. So the slower-moving, bigger-moving water helps, but we still have too many fish, and we need to get after them and get aggressive with them. And to your point about the markets, there are markets for them. They are a good-tasting fish, but when you're trying to remove them, we've got to develop markets and techniques and systems that are flexible, because the people that start these businesses, once we catch them out of the Kentucky Lake or Pickwick, we're going to need them to be able to pivot to the Mississippi, where there's a supply that can sustain them long term. So we've got to be very creative in how we develop these solutions.
Well, and Mike, I know you've been at it since you've been with the Federation for a long time. 2002, I think. I
started here. My first job here was in '96, so
Okay.
April 1st will be my 25th year anniversary.
Well, way to go, buddy. And we'll classify Asian carp in this battle of your 25th anniversary. This is probably one of the biggest challenges that we have faced, I think, in the fishing industry. And you point out how important is fishing. How important is fishing to the state of Tennessee?
It's billions of dollars of economic activity.
Yeah.
And I would say this: it is the single largest threat to our native fisheries
Amazing.
that I've seen, short of getting the locks and dams to where they could oxygenate the water effectively to create healthy habitat for fish.
Yeah.
That was an easier problem to address because it dealt with man-made issues.
Yes. This
is an invasive exotic species, and it is very difficult to control. And we're going to have to stay on top of it and keep our thumb on it for a long time. But we know that it can be done You look to China, they've caught these fish out because they overfished them in their rivers.
Yeah.
So we know it can be done. We just have to put our shoulder to the wheel and keep pushing.
And you mentioned experimental barrier at Berkeley. I mean, that's what we're calling it right now, isn't it? I mean, just to see how it works.
Yeah, they put the barrier in about 18 months ago.
Uh-huh.
They tagged several fish with radio telemetry tags, and they are watching to see how they react with the barrier. And the results should be coming sometime this year from that, looking at that. I will tell you that last year it was that barrier was struck by lightning, and it was down for a couple of months,
Yeah,
a few
it was.
months since
Yeah.
couldn't get it fixed because of COVID restrictions. But
Yes.
it's been up and running since I think the fall of this past year.
Yeah.
And they do have several tagged fish, and they're watching their movements.
And this, again, we're talking to Mike Butler, the CEO for the Tennessee Wildlife Federation. And Mike, the big name for this is the Water Resources Development Act of 2020. And they put everything
Correct.
in initials now, WRDA, like we'll remember that down the road or something. But we're in the stage right now. You guys always are at the forefront of the fight, Mike, and I wanted to personally thank you and the Federation for all you do, buddy. I didn't realize it'd been that long ago, and that make me really feel old. I still think Tony Campbell's, I mean, that's I cut my teeth with Tony. Now, I don't know if that's good or bad, but
I talked to him last week. So
he's still kicking,
still around. I pick his brain for a lot of people say that not many of the issues change. It's just a different part of the different decade, and some of that's true. So I go back to him for advice every now and again.
Well, he was one of the guys when I started this business in 1988. Was step forward, and he didn't mind speaking his piece. I know that, and so I appreciate you guys stepping up. And we'll stay in touch. You guys do a great job, folks. We got all this information posted on my website, lroutdoors.com, and I'm assuming it's on y'all's website. And what is that website again, Mike?
TNWF.org, just like Tennessee, initials Tennessee Wildlife Federation, WF.org.
That's it, folks, and you can find it on mine, lroutdoors.com. Mike, thanks for getting up early on a Saturday morning. We'll stay in touch, and congratulations on 25 years. Okay, man?
Hey, great talking to you folks. I hope to get out there in the duck blind here soon myself.
Go, Mike. Go, Mike. Okay, thanks.
All right.
All right.
Take care.
All right. Let's take a break. Frank, you still there?
I am here.
I'm going to need you on this next one. Okay, Frank. I'll be right back. Frank will be right back. Shelby will be right back. If we're not, we're in trouble when Outdoors Aware.